secular bubble world. And living in that world, you don't really realize the impact that you have on people, or somebody, even like my mother, who's watching me go through all of these things now and being invited to speak at events like this, and her being like, well, that's really amazing, Johnny. Like, you've done something great, and you've brought attention to subjects that the people refuse to really talk about and think about, such as your sexual orientation, your gender, and what you see your world as, and that's something that I never think about. And during the Olympics, my gender was called into question by two commentators from Quebec. And the Olympic Games, this Olympic Games, my second one in my career as a figure skater, is something that I've worked 13 years of my life to achieve and to be at, and to have that moment when the entire world was watching me and I was showing them something that I bled, cried, and was a dominatrix, really, for every day of my life. And that's a moment that will never be taken away from me, and to have it completely torn apart and belittled on such a massive stage as, two old men that are talking about me not having a penis, to the world, basically. It was very disheartening. So my agent, being a super agent that she is, decided to throw a press conference. Not an after-competition party or, anything to celebrate what I'd done, but a press conference to explain myself. And, I mean, for the record, I am very, very proud to have a penis. Amazing moment we have together. I love it. But going through this press conference that I was very, very deeply thrown into the situation, I spoke from the heart, and I said, having the freedom and the ability to be myself is something that every child and every person deserves. And it's something that I never take for granted, and something that I'm so honored and so lucky to have grown up in a family like I did that is very supportive of me, no matter what I choose. If it's to sleep with a man, marry a woman, dye my hair purple, they support everything, and I'm so lucky for that. And I hope that more children have that opportunity to never be said no to, unless you want to set firecrackers on 100 years or something. But never to be said no to. And that's something that I live for. That's something I live behind. That's something that makes me so proud. And the response I got from not only this community, but from the world about speaking out, about how, oh my God, the letters I was getting. My kid is so weird, you have no idea. He can't do anything without ballet slippers on. Or my daughter, she loves frogs. Why is that? Like just random weird things you wouldn't even think about. And these parents and these mothers who had seen my words, my press conference, they were writing and they said, you're giving our kids this face, this very public face, and this person that they can look up to. I mean, be free, be weird. Do things that you find interesting and find fun, and love it and live it. And don't answer questions standing by me. So in that way, I saw where I had my purpose. Now, I vow that I do a really short speech because I know everyone wants to get to the after party. What I heard when I arrived in Seattle was that it's all about the after party and the after party. It seems very aggressive. But I'll make my next story shorter, but I have... Okay, I'll work it. So my next story is basically my journey, and if it empowers you, I'm very happy for that effect. If it does not, I'm also happy for that effect. So I hope everyone can get something from this. So, I was born and raised in Amish country, Pennsylvania, which, yeah, a bit shocking. I look like this. And That's why I did that. And I got into this crazy world of figure skating because I had one dream, to be an Olympian and to represent my country and to be fabulous. So, with the love of a wonderful mother and a wonderful father, and a little brother whose life was completely uprooted so that I could, perform and fulfill my dreams, I was given all of the gifts that I needed to make that a reality. And I got into figure skating very late because coming from Amish country, we had no ice rinks or any ability to train and no history of, wonderful ice queens in the area. So, I got started very late and I was 12 years old, and that's old to start figure skating. I quickly, in 4 years, I was world champion at the junior level, and then the next year I was an alternate for the Olympics. That was the sole reason that I started to skate, which was the Salt Lake City Olympics in 2002. And that's why I wanted to skate. And somehow I made myself an alternate in 5 years, from cornfields to, almost going to the Olympics. So in that time, I had to learn a lot of skills. I had to learn how to skate, how to jump, how to spin, all of these things, how to be gorgeous, what costumes to wear, all the politics behind who actually becomes champions in figure skating. And in all of those realizations, I never knew what to expect. In learning all of these skills, I never knew what to expect. I just knew that I had to work hard if I wanted anything in this life. So 4 years later, I made my next Olympics. And it was at a time when I was young still, and I was the new, hot, fresh thing, and my country's federation totally supported me, the world's judges totally supported me, and I lost. And I got fifth in my first Olympics, and it was really depressing and devastating, and I felt like I had sort of played by the rules as much as I could. Of course, I was getting in trouble and getting sent to media training because I was talking about drugs and sex and all of these things that figure skaters aren't supposed to talk about. And through all of that, I made it to my first Olympic experience completely unscathed, and vowed that for the next Olympics I would be prepared and win something. And prepared I was. I gave two of the most magical performances of my life in Vancouver in February. And for any other person, my performances may have been translated into Olympic medals. But for me, it was not. I was sixth place in my second Olympic Games, and I felt like no matter what, I could at least have a bronze medal. Just give me something. And growing up and having to learn so quickly what figure skating was, I learned that it's a very staid and old sport. It doesn't like anybody that goes against the grain. It doesn't like anybody that doesn't fit this cookie cutter image of what an American athlete, a proud American athlete, should be. And in realizing all of this, I said, fuck it, I'm going to do exactly what I want. So, when I got on the ice in Vancouver, and every nation's camera was pointed at my face, and there were all these little men with cameras around the border of the ice rink, my music started to play, and I said, oh, bitch. And in that moment, I knew that I wouldn't have a medal. I already knew that no matter what I did, most likely I wouldn't win a medal for the United States. And I accepted that, and I wanted to take the entire world on this journey with me. I wanted them to feel every emotion that I had coursing through my body. I wanted them to feel how nervous I was. I wanted everyone to feel my passion and my love for my craft. And medal or not, I wanted people to feel that. And when I finished skating, I was literally bent over backwards in the middle of the ice. And I got up and I tossed myself. And I looked around. People with every flag of the world were waving their flags to me. People were standing. People were crying and clapping. And I got in that way my medal. So in every realm of business, work, you have to do it your way. You have to be as empowered as you can be by the power that everyone has inside them. Even if you aren't going to get the same things as everyone else, do it your way, and it will be completely the most fulfilling moment that you can have when you finally reach what you consider success. In my opinion, I'm the Olympic champion of Vancouver 2010.